country is standing right on this stage.
And I love this city. I love this senior center. She has done a lot for this center.
Affordable housing, tax revenue, and jobs. It is rare that we get projects that have all three. This is one of those.
I want to thank the mayor and the city for making such a strong investment in Marie Reed Elementary School by leading this modernization.
Everything about this school is that all the teachers who support me to be who I am today.
You know, I truly believe that I got a wonderful education here. And everyone made do with what was available at the time. And to see that they have more resources and the interest that the city has taken into the school, I'm just happy for the kids. I'm happy for the teachers that work here. Anytime I'm honored by the mayor, I'm going to be happy about it.
Through SYEP, I was able to land an internship at WMATA and launched my career. SYEP has endless opportunities for young people like myself.
We've always been such huge supporters of the Fight for 15 campaign.
The whole point of the Infrastructure Academy is to train DC residents for the infrastructure jobs that we are creating.
I'm a native Washingtonian. They taught me about how to work in this business. There's a future here. There's a true pathway. In 3 years, a 20-year-old can probably buy a home off this.
This program has been a blessing to us because it assisted us with our down payment and helped us with our closing costs towards our home. And I'm just so grateful for it, so I thank the mayor.
We applaud the mayor and her administration for placing focus and emphasis on the dire need for housing.
I became homeless after I had my first child, and I was just couch surfing, going from house to house, house to house. And I thank y'all.
1 yearly, it's a 2 yearly.
2 yearly, I love it. All right.
I think the mayor is a champion. Her willingness and her desire to want everyone in Washington, D.C. to sign up for health care, to have access to health care, is demonstrative of her commitment for everybody's health and well-being.
Tell me about the different plans that I see. People want to get focused on their fitness and they want to start the new year out right. Today, we're going to talk to you about two technologies, the AED Link. The second piece of technology we're going to talk about is Pulse Point. It is a smartphone app that alerts you if someone goes into cardiac arrest near you.
The Robbery Prevention Task Force has helped us work together to prosecute repeat offenders. Robberies are down in all 8 wards.
The mayor's doing a great job. And this library is a manifestation of the kind of work she's been doing.
Welcome to your big bus tour of Washington, D.C.
This is the capital of the world.
We are live. Welcome to DC Radio.
And mayors have to stand up for immigration rights, for reproductive rights, for LGBTQ rights. I want to welcome you all to your nation's capital and the best city in the world.
Hello, if you are as excited as I am, I think you can do better than that. Good evening, I'm Beverly Perry, and for those of you that don't know me, I am the senior advisor to the mayor, but my real goal is DC statehood. But there's a warrior for DC statehood that far precedes me. And she has a TV interview, and I want her to come and bring some greetings before she leaves. Our Congresswoman, Eleanor Holmes Norton, bring it on.
Okay, Mayor, you didn't tell me I was going to have the opportunity to say Happy New Year's, 51st State. No, Mayor Bowser, members of the council, members of her cabinet, her parents, I am pleased to be here for another celebration of what the mayor has accomplished, because what she's accomplished, she's done for you and me. And I appreciate the opportunity to remind you that there's one great big accomplishment still to be done, and to thank you because each year we have increased the number of co-sponsors for the DC statehood bill. Thank you, DC. We will get there.
Good afternoon, everyone. Or evening, I guess. My name is David Alpert, and I run an organization called Greater Washington, which publishes a news website about many issues in the Washington region, especially the District of Columbia, especially around transportation, housing, and other public policies. We also are an advocacy organization that advocates for issues like better transportation, more affordable housing, and so forth for everyone in the District of Columbia. In addition, I am also in charge of an organization called DC Sustainable Transportation, which is an alliance of business organizations, civic organizations, advocates, and others to improve transportation for DC and for the people who live and work here. What we're going to be doing is I'm going to be asking a few questions of two of our wonderful leaders of the Washington, D.C. government. And the first one's going to be Jeff Marutian, who is for the next 5 days the acting director of the District Department of Transportation, because after those 5 days, we hope, but I think it's not too much of a question, that he will be the permanent director of the District Department of Transportation. So. But before he talks about all of his accomplishments, or the accomplishments that are to come for his leadership of DDOT, I also wanted to just sort of set the stage a little bit for some of what we're going to be needing to think about. And among other things, the district is growing very rapidly and has been for a number of years. The latest census estimates say that we are at 693,000 people, or almost 700,000 people. And I think that's really wonderful because I love the District of Columbia. I love living here. I'm really happy to be a part of it. And I think that one of the most important things that we need to do is make sure that everybody can be a part of it, whether they already have lived here for a long time or are new to the district. Or as Mayor Bowser said, and has said many times, whether people have been here for 5 generations or 5 minutes. And when she first talked about that in the campaign, I found that to be very inspiring, and I really loved hearing that, because it really was, I felt, a compelling concept that our goal needs to be to create a District of Columbia that really is welcoming of everyone, that can allow all of the people that are coming here to be a part of it, and the people that are already here to continue to be a part of it, and grow the prosperity and all the success that we've had. So I'm going to be talking about that very briefly with Director Marutian and then Director Tommy Wells of the Department of Energy and the Environment. So why don't we hear from Director Marutian?
Great. Thank you so much, David. Good evening, everybody. It's great to be here with all of you. I'm going to talk very briefly about some of our accomplishments at DDOT over the past several years. Under the leadership of our mayor, we have focused on really bringing our agency back to basics. We have successfully, under the mayor's Alley Palooza program, for example, repaved close to 400 alleys. We've more than tripled our capacity to pave local streets, and we're gearing up to do even more this spring. Along with my colleague Tommy Wells and his agency, DOEE, we've initiated several green infrastructure projects, all with the goal of increasing sustainability and improving safety for our community across all 8 wards of the city. In August, the mayor made a bold announcement with a commitment of $30 million to upgrade our circulator bus fleet. We have more than half of those circulator buses in operation now, and over the next several months, we'll be getting 14 electric buses into our fleet. The implications of that for us are quite large. In addition to improving the safety and reliability of the system, the circulator system, we also are reducing the emissions, and in the case of the electric buses, we're bringing them down to 0 emissions, which has a huge impact for the sustainability of our city. We're also working on several other big technology projects, big ideas that will make our city safer and will continue to improve the quality of and health of our environment. We are working now with our colleagues in the Office of Public-Private Partnerships on an effort to upgrade all of the street lights throughout the city to LED lights. And the implications of that for safety and for environmental emissions are quite large. And so those are the kinds of initiatives and efforts that we have worked on and will continue to work on under the leadership of Mayor Bowser.
Great, thank you. First thing to maybe build on what I was saying a moment ago, and as the district is growing, one of the challenges is that the amount of land is not growing, and the amount of land that's available for transportation use isn't particularly growing either. So we have a challenge that there aren't going to be new big highways because there isn't somewhere that, among other reasons, there isn't somewhere that they would go. And we have to make best use of many of the resources that we have, like Metro, which, as everyone's aware, is something that struggles. Doing more with buses, and signal timings to help people not be stuck in traffic and so forth. Can you talk a little bit about how DDOT is balancing all of these issues?
Absolutely. We have really been thinking creatively about how we plan for and how we think about those dynamics that you just described. And one of the things that we've done is rely on technology to reduce congestion, to move people throughout the city more quickly. We launched a very successful pilot program this past fall to better manage the curbside space, where we have done a demonstration period where we've allowed for pickup and drop-off of ride-sharing vehicles, for example, which has made the operations of traffic in one specific area in DuPont Circle, where we're testing this effort, safer, more efficient. We've reduced congestion. We've made it safer for pedestrians. Those are the kinds of things that we're doing to think a little bit differently, because as you said, we can't widen our highway system. We can't widen our roads, so we've had to think about ways to use technology. We've optimized our traffic signals, making it easier for both motorists, for cyclists, and even for pedestrians to get around the city more safely and more efficiently. I should also mention that in doing that signal optimization, we've actually seen a 10% reduction in carbon emissions as a result. So we're looking for those opportunities to balance both safety and sustainability efforts.
Fantastic. You mentioned a few times safety, and of course people being safe to use our roads and all the modes that they might be taking, whether they're driving, bicycling, walking, using a scooter, et cetera, are paramount. I know that a big focus for DDOT has been on its Vision Zero program to reduce, or actually get to zero, the number of fatalities. Can you talk about specifically what does that mean for the typical resident of the district?
Sure. Vision Zero is a comprehensive strategy to eliminate traffic fatalities and serious injuries by 2024. And what we have done is focus on really 3 components. Public education being one of those components, enforcement being an important one, and then engineering solutions, looking at high crash intersections, places that we have seen a tendency for problematic interactions between drivers and pedestrians and cyclists, and applied engineering solutions to try to solve for those. We have a team that goes out on a regular basis to do assessments of some of these locations, make quick recommendations about how to fix and modify those locations, and that's something that we have seen a lot of success in doing, and we are going to continue to to look at those kinds of locations as we go forward.
That's great, and and I really appreciate the mayor's commitment and your commitment to setting this important goal, because no one should die on a roadway, and it's fantastic that the city has made that commitment. One of the less known things about DDOT, at least to a number of people, that people are less aware that DDOT is responsible for, is trees, which are in the space between, often in the space between the sidewalk and the roadway, so they're in DDOT's purview, but most people think of DDOT as the cars and bikes and trains agency. So how's DDOT helping achieve some of the mayor's also ambitious goals about increasing the tree canopy and so forth in the District of Columbia?
Well, I'm very proud to report, David, that during this administration, we have significantly enhanced our tree planting program. This season alone, between October and April, we set the ambitious goal of planting 8,000 trees. I'm excited to report that we are more than halfway through that planting cycle, and we are well over halfway through planting those, and we're confident that we're going to get to that 8,000. We have, for every, over the past 2 years, for every one tree that we have removed, we have planted 4 new trees. And so that's across all 8 wards of the city. That does deserve a round of applause. Several months ago, the mayor also announced some new technology that we've deployed for our residents to help better engage with the public. We announced a tree watering app that residents can use on their phone to help us really to know where there are trees that need help, that need to be watered, and to really give our members of the public and the community a sense of real pride in knowing that their trees are being well cared for and well maintained for our city. So we are aggressively planting and making sure that the health and vitality of our trees stays as good as possible.
Fantastic. Well, thank you, Director Meridian, and I look forward to seeing you be able to drop the acting from your title in a few days.
Thank you very much.
So with that little shift, we're now going to hear from another one of the leaders of district agencies, Tommy Wells, who's the head of the Department of Energy and the Environment, and formerly Ward 6 council member. Tommy, welcome, and why don't you talk a little bit about what you have been doing?
Well, thank you, David, and thank you for your leadership. Greater Washington has really become a respected journal that I know that we all read and look for, and we also really like it when you write good things about us. And so that's very important to us. Good to see you, Mayor, and it was great to see our Congresswoman. We've had an amazing year. The 3 years that we've worked together to make D.C. a sustainable city has been extraordinary. The fact that we are the first city in the world to be designated as a LEED Platinum city, the first one in the world, is extraordinary. But it's not my agency that did it, it's you that did it. Department of Government Services, with all the work that you've been doing around energy for our city and for our buildings. DDOT, you just heard from Jeff talking about the incredible, they've been doing about 11,000 trees a year. He didn't say that. He's looking at this year, but they've been doing an amazing job of retrofitting the public space of our city to absorb rainwater. Office of Planning, the work that they've been doing around nutrition and food and sustainability has been extraordinary. Certainly DCRA has been a great partner in seeing that our buildings are green. You know, we now have more Energy Star buildings in the DC area. When we started, Mayor, we were 6 behind LA. For the past 2 years, we've been #1 in the nation, and that is a great accomplishment. We have more green roofs going on in the past 3 years than any other city in the country. Green roofs mean that we get a cooler city, a healthier city, and actually new habitat for birds and other plants in our city. So that has been a remarkable achievement that you have done. Octo provided the lead on getting our application in, but all of you, that is it's an award that could not be done by one agency alone. DPW, all of you have done an amazing job. And DEMPED, of course, and seeing that our buildings are built to standard that we can be proud of and working with our development community. But now, this year that we're in now, 2018, is the year of the Anacostia River. And now what does that mean? That means all the work that we've been working on a lot of that is going to be highlighted in this coming year. And so our mayor started the very first day of 2018 out in that chilly cold with the Fresh Start 5K run. And so our mayor leading the way, making this the year of the Anacostia. The combined sewer overflow for the Anacostia River, that's miles and miles of tunnel underneath our rivers, and it's down 100 feet, and it's going to be like a major rain barrel. Will really handle almost 98% of all the overflow events for the city. It's going to be cleaner, it's going to be fishable, it's going to be swimmable. We have retrofitted almost every single stream in the city that's not on parkland so that it does what nature intends for it to do, absorb the nutrients, absorb the runoff before it gets into the water stream. We've made progress. And I would say that after we've tested the fish, which we do every 3 to 5 years, the Anacostia River is cleaner than it's been in 50 years. And that, again, is a testament of our taxpayers investing in the infrastructure that we need in order to clean our rivers. But then also the next major investments, and something I'm very excited about, is our solar deployment in the city. We have and are in the midst of implementing the largest solar deployment in the country to benefit solely low-income residents. Solar in the past has been viewed as appliances on people's roofs for the wealthier and higher income folks. What we're doing is that we're mandated and we are figuring out how do you take a city that's already built out, find places to put solar power, and then redeploy those benefits to low-income residents. And we're going to hear from someone in a moment after David and I talk a little bit about what that means to our city. It's not just that we're going to achieve the goal of 5% of all our power coming from solar within the district. It means a lot more than that. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment. But again, David, thank you for being our Merv Griffin. Thanks for being here. Oh, that dated me, didn't it? Sorry.
Thank you very much, Director Wells. The mayor has, among many other things, embraced and advanced the district's aggressive sustainability goals of setting us to a place of being sustainable. And okay, all right. And a big part of that is having a written plan for how we're going, what are our targets, and what are we going to achieve to achieve sustainability, called the Sustainable DC Plan. And your agency is currently in the process of creating the second version of that plan. Can you tell me a little bit about how that's going and what people should look for in the new plan?
Well, the Sustainable DC Plan, which engages all of us, is our roadmap to becoming a sustainable city. And the first thing the mayor did is take the work that had been done and say, we're going to own this plan, we're going to implement the plan, and now we're at a point to where we're ready for version 2.0. What we're doing this time that's different from last time, and it's not a criticism, it's just what happened, is that this time the mayor has really pushed for engaging more city residents from all 8 wards to be involved in designing this plan so there's greater city ownership on what it means to be a sustainable city. So I know that you've reviewed the plan, you know that we've accomplished quite a bit of the plan, but we have a lot more work to do, and again, it's the roadmap for all of us for being a sustainable city.
Terrific. One of the other goals that the mayor has set out is for the district to become carbon neutral by 2050, which is a bold goal that helps us achieve the sorts of aims of the Paris Climate Agreement that other levels of government that are located in the city but don't care about it so much have stepped away from. Can you tell me a little bit about what your agency and the district are doing to reach that target?
Well, that gets to really a very serious subject, that we know that climate change is real. We know that we're in this bomb, typhoon, vortex, whatever they're calling it right now, that we're having one of the most extended periods of cold that we've had in many years. And that's on top of having the warmest 3 years in the history of keeping records over the past 3 years. We're in the midst of climate change. Will have an impact on the viability of our city. It'll have an impact on our economy and our residents in dramatic ways. And so one of the things that we've done is that we have a chief resiliency officer that Kevin Bush has been brought on to work in the city administrator's office to see that the city's resilient. But the other thing is, and this is really, again, on a more serious note, we don't have a federal partner anymore. That's almost unthinkable that we don't have a federal partner in figuring out how we're going to address climate change and how we're going to retrofit the built environment of our whole country so that we can be more accountable in reducing greenhouse gases. And so in that void, the mayor has had to step up and be a leader. And, I'll never forget, we went down to Mexico City. The mayor brought us along with really leading a team of other mayors from across the country to tell the mayors across the world that one election does not change our values, that we're still in it. 70% of all greenhouse gases are due to cities. Cities are the problem. Cities are the solution. And to have our mayor step up right away, because we're the nation's capital, and speak that to the rest of the mayors across the world means we have a lot of work to do to back the mayor up. But again, I couldn't have been more proud, and I couldn't have decided that my job, where I'm at today, could not be more important. And so with that, we have a lot of work to do.
Sounds good. And of course, the extremely destructive hurricane season that we just had to suffer through, and especially many folks in islands in the Caribbean had to suffer through, is just gives additional weight to the human toll that climate change is already bringing, and unfortunately perhaps may in the future if we don't take decisive action. So thank you for doing that. I think now we'll be hearing from another person.
Thank you, David. So next, I'm going to introduce you to someone, but before I do, I remember there was a time when I didn't work for our mayor. And one of the things that our mayor talked about when she talked about the environment on the campaign, she said, you know what, what's good for the environment is good for the economy. And so as we have this program to deploy solar power, I think that when the mayor talks about a pathway to the middle class, we could not have a better example of one of our city's residents that has taken advantage of what the city has offered to join the ranks of really the fastest growing job area in the country. And again, what's good for the environment is good for business. In fact, we've gone over the past 5 years from 2 or 3 businesses involved in solar deployment to over 40 that now have something to do with solar deployment. I want to introduce you to a remarkable Washingtonian. Many of you know her. She's been recently being featured on BBC, and I could not be more inspired or proud of Sharon Weiss.
Thank you so much, Tommy. It's just an incredible opportunity to be here. Me and Tommy have history, especially working in the environment, which wasn't a leap for me once I found out about what the mayor was doing around the Solar for All program. I used to live under a bridge, and that was my first introduction to the environment, really. At 9 years old, I was running away. So by the time I got from Chicago and to DC, where my life began to change, I actually hit every program in the District of Columbia. You know, from MPD to DBH to APRA, eventually ended up at DOES, and got involved with GRID, and now hopefully what has happened at Solar for All program can help me change the future. The mayor's goal with the 10 kilowatts of solar power, I got on that roof, and I'm telling you, 4 months ago, I would not have been able to pass you, say, a beam or a clamp or something like that, But the things that I learned there at Solar for All, it has really changed my life. It made me look at solar differently. I had never saw a solar panel. And within 1 week of being in that program, they had us trained for harnesses. They had us trained for safety. We were getting our OSHA training. We were getting our first aid training. And so I see how my life, and from going under that bridge to a higher level of consciousness, it's just it really is moving me into the middle class. And I know that that's part of some of the mayor's goal. I'm really glad to be here, Tommy, mainly because of what's happening over at the Anacostia River. As some of you all may know, Anacostia means Ananka, and Ananka means trading village. And with the 100th anniversary of Anacostia Park, you know, I see so much happening over there, and I live in Anacostia. So I'm looking forward, you know, as a Ward 8 resident. You know, I was out there with the mayor on the 1st of January running in the cold, but I said if she could run for the people, I'm running with her. You know, so I just look forward to anyone who has questions, because we only have a certain amount of time, but I would look forward to answering questions afterwards about what Solar for All is doing. And the fact that she put that in there, I was a part of the inaugural class. That was the first 12-week class that GRID graduated, and it was only made possible because our mayor got creative and said, look, if these people get trained, help me get that 10 kilowatts of solar power, they'll get jobs, they'll become taxpayers, and that's what it's all about.
Now, as Ms. Wise said, that she took advantage of an extraordinary new partnership between DOES and DOEE, realizing that these funds are not just to put solar panels on top of buildings, but it's also a way to invest in our residents as well. What is it about, you know, this it could be a foreign concept, getting involved in solar power and then seeing a career in that? What drew you to that?
What drew me to that is the fact that, you know, living under a bridge, some people may not conceptualize it, especially when we think about it's so cold outside, and some of us may have rode past homeless people. I wanted to be out there. I didn't want to be responsible for bills and things like that. I had lost all parental rights to my children. You know, there was a lot of things that had happened in my life due to no fault of my own, and it's just too long of a story to talk about historical trauma here. You know, but what I do want to say is that because of what happened to me, a lot of things ended up happening for me. And most of it was getting involved with the district programs. They can't do it by themselves. We have to do something too. District residents have to step up and say, wait a minute, if they're giving me 50 cents and I put in 50 cents, I have $1, you know. So getting involved with the solar industry, I've always loved the environment. You know, I don't have a job in the solar industry right now, but I am looking for one. I'm looking to get involved with the environment. That's what I want to do. As an artist, I find driftwood in Anacostia Park. I make jewelry out of it. I'm able to finance my homeless outreach. I don't get grants. I live by my wits because that is what district is about. Taking what you got and doing what you need to do with it. So.
I guess finally, Sharon, is there anything that, you know, we represent your government here. We work for you. Is there anything else that you would like to say to us of how we can help more folks that have seen tough times like you to get them back on their feet like you obviously are, to see that our residents, more people have a pathway to the middle class, more people have a fresh start, yes. And serve the people that we intend to serve. What do you want to tell us?
Well, I have to stand up for this one. I want to tell the district residents that if the district is doing their part, you have to do your part. I crawled from under that bridge, and people had bets on my life that I was going to be dead by the time I was 25 years old. But here I stand with a master's degree, then got this certificate through the Solar for All program, and I am looking for a job if somebody's hiring. But I want to say I had to do my part. And I think that that's my message. That's that take home. That when we see people laying on the ground or we see people going through hard times, I wanted to go through those hard times. I didn't want to be responsible. But guess what? In order for my life to change, I had to be responsible. I had to do something different to get something different. So that's really what I want to say. And then I love the fact that the rainwater runoff, the things we're doing around wind turbines. I love the C40 and what you're doing. I've been following that, getting involved, getting the seniors involved with making sure that those with low income and definitely our seniors get those solar panels on their roofs. They're the ones with the longevity. They're the ones that are homeowners and things like that, and making sure that they get educated about how they can get involved with climate changing. Because guess what, DC? The climate is changing. So thank you.
Let's give Sharon a hand. Sharon a hand. And our moderator, David.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Well, good evening. Let's give Sharon another hand. Isn't this why we're here? What a ringing testimony that really speaks to why we do the work that we do in the District of Columbia. My name is Rashad Young. I serve as the city administrator for our mayor, Mayoral Bowser. Tonight you're going to hear about Mayor Bowser's commitment to creating pathways for middle class for our residents by things like preserving affordable housing, creating well-paying jobs, and creating inclusive prosperity so that every community in the district can benefit from the district's growth and development. This commitment also extends to those who work for the district. After 6 years, Mayor Bowser was able to negotiate an agreement with the Washington Teachers Union to provide better pay and benefits for teachers in the District of Columbia. And today, I am also pleased to announce that Mayor Bowser has achieved another milestone in ensuring fair pay and benefits for district government employees. We have reached a tentative agreement with our largest bargaining unit, which includes the American Federation of State and County Municipal Employees, the National Association of Government Employees, and the American Federation of Government Employees, which represents nearly 10,000 employees from 37 district agencies, including agencies like the Department of Public Works, DCRA, DYRS, DPR, DOES, and the Department of Corrections. This agreement will invest approximately $156 million in our employees over the next 4 years. With this agreement, employees will continue to have some of the most competitive salaries in the country, and that is something that we all can be proud of. We are reminded of the importance of our committed and hardworking district employees, particularly on a day like today, bitterly cold and snowy. There are employees ensuring our streets are clear, our communities are safe, and that our residents experiencing homelessness can come out of the cold. These employees and thousands like them work tirelessly day and night to keep our great city running smoothly. They've earned our appreciation and respect, and I join the mayor in acknowledging and celebrating this tentative agreement. Thank you, and let's have a great evening.
My grandfather, William Lee, started his shop with his wife, Winifred Lee, in 1945.
We have a lot of family members, extended family members that have worked here through their lives, and this has been their first job. And so it's just it just became a family business.
When we first found out we got the grant, we paid for rendering, and we fell in love with it. Christina and I, we fell in love with it. And he said, well, it's gonna be $200,000. We were like, oh my God. We only have 47, but what we did was we went to our bank, Industrial Bank, right across the street there, and we got a loan for the other half. So they did a total good job, and it's just been phenomenal. The place is like a brand new place, and we're proud to come to work every day. And people come in and they're just overwhelmed with how nice it looks. I just credit Mayor Bowser with, she's just a wonderful mayor and very engaging. When we got the mural, which Christy spearheaded, She was there, Small Business Saturday. On a Saturday, after Thanksgiving, we were like, oh, she's not gonna come. We're not gonna have it that day. And she was there. She was there, going to all these businesses around the city. And, you know, I mean, even when it snowed, I saw her out there shoveling snow. Like, this woman is incredible. So we just love her. We wouldn't have done it without the Grace Free Grant, which gave us the seed money to do this.
Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing? My name is Brian Kenner. I'm the Deputy Mayor for Planning and Economic Development in Washington, D.C. I was told to be brief, and so I brought some visual aids with me, so if I just ask your indulgence to bear with me here a little bit. I think you've heard a little bit today about some of the accomplishments that this administration has been doing. I just wanted to try to put some of that into some objective numbers for people. The first number is 3. 3 years. Very good. But also representative of the 3 things that the mayor holds me accountable for, so that I keep my job. And that is affordable housing, tax revenue, and jobs. And I think that those 3 things are important, not just because they are measures of success, but they are really measures of livelihood and vibrancy here in the District of Columbia. If you look around our region, you will find states and cities and counties that are experiencing deficits on the budget side. The district is not. We are growing in tax revenue. You will find other states that are seeing decreases in employment. We are gaining in employment. And you will see, certainly, as it relates to affordable housing, the district's allocation per capita is the largest per capita allocation in the entire country in terms of what we are doing around affordable housing. Next number, 5,000. 5,000 is representative of the number of affordable housing units delivered in the last 3 years. That is representative of families that can affordably live in the District of Columbia. That is representative of children that are coming and able to go to school in the District of Columbia. One of the things that we talk about is our population increase, and I think an important component of our population increase, there's this thought out there that there's a bunch of millennials that are moving into the District of Columbia. And while that is also true, the majority of the growth that we're getting in population every single month is from births. It's from people that are choosing to live in the District of Columbia. Next number. 30,000. 30,000 represents the total number of new jobs that have been created over the last 3 years in the District of Columbia. An important part of that is that those are private sector jobs. If you look at public sector job growth over the district and really over the region over the last 3 to 5 years, you will see it is completely flat. People are moving and working in Washington, D.C., and they are having a private sector job. That is how we are growing our jobs today. That is how we will be growing in the future. Last number. $700,000. That is the population number that we will be at sometime in the middle part of February of 2018. For context, 700,000 makes us larger than the states of Vermont and Wyoming. Next on our list at 700,000 is the great state of Alaska. We will soon, by the end of 2018, we will be larger than Alaska's population. City-wise, 700,000 makes us larger than the city of Baltimore, makes us larger than the city of Atlanta, and makes us larger than the city of Boston. And so we are increasingly being a place where people are choosing to live and choosing to grow their families. My final few slides are just a few acronyms for people. First one, IN3. That stands for the Inclusive Innovation Incubator, which is a concept that was pioneered by the mayor and Howard University to create literally the most inclusive tech and innovation environment in the country in Washington, D.C. We have created the first and only inclusive innovation incubator that is a public-private partnership located on Howard University's campus that is active 7 days a week. It really is a testament to the prioritization that the mayor has about making sure that inclusiveness, tech and innovation, jobs, and diversity is a priority for us. Next acronym, NPF, Neighborhood Prosperity Fund, a first-of-its-kind investment championed again by the mayor to make sure that we have food access all around the District of Columbia. We know that we have food deserts that are located in D.C. The Neighborhood Prosperity Fund, the first of its kind, was able to put $3 million to support two important projects, one in Ward 7 and one in Ward 8, that will create new food service, fresh food service opportunities located east of the river for the first time. Final one, promise. ESA, the Entertainment and Sports Arena, located on the St. Elizabeth's campus in Ward 8, which, again, represents, as I like to tell people, does not really represent basketball. It is much bigger than basketball. This is an opportunity for construction jobs. This is an opportunity for 500 permanent jobs. This is an opportunity to be a catalyst on the St. Elizabeth's campus in a way that has never, ever happened. And again, championed by the mayor. She said when she came into office, we need to get St. Elizabeth's going. Brian, you need to do something about it, and I need to keep my job. And so therefore, we had it going. All of these numbers and all of these investments, I think, again, are just symbolic of the fact that we need to be thinking, and the mayor has tasked us to be thinking about inclusion all over the city. Inclusion in terms of prosperity, inclusion in terms of jobs, inclusion in terms of making sure that whether or not you've been here for 5 minutes or 5 generations, that you have an opportunity to have a pathway to the middle class. Thank you very much.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Laura Zeilinger, Director at the Department of Human Services. All of this fantastic prosperity and opportunity, we know people can take advantage of only when they have the platform of housing. Housing is really that essential ingredient from which people can access success, and without it, that is very difficult, which is why within the mayor's first 100 days, our Interagency Council on Homelessness released Homeward DC, our strategic plan to guide our efforts on reforming our homeless services system. That plan really lays the foundation for sustainable change and progress in reforming that system, meaning that it implements the solutions that we know work to prevent homelessness whenever possible, to ensure that when people experience homelessness, that episode is brief and that they exit with the housing supports they need to not return to homelessness, that are really tailored to their individual needs. So when we talk about our goals to end homelessness, that's what we mean, that it's rare, brief, non-recurring. And we've been implementing those strategies in a way that we are achieving results. We know that when we can't prevent homelessness, people need a safe place to stay. So we've been providing year-round access to shelter for families, not just when it's dangerously cold, but when that need happens. And that has allowed us to enhance our prevention efforts and to create a system that works 365 days out of the year. In our first full year of implementation with the resources supporting those solutions and programs, we saw overall decreases in homelessness. That included a 22% decrease in homelessness among families, and an overall almost 11% decrease among all populations. And all indications are that progress is continuing, and that our numbers in our second year will be just as positive. So I'm very excited about the investments, engaging both the council and making the legislative changes that are required to sustain these changes in the long run, and the appropriations that are investing in the solutions that we know work.
Great. Thank you, Laura. Good evening. I'm Polly Donaldson. I'm Director of the Department of Housing and Community Development. And as Mayor Bowser often says, and I think we echo, you can't talk about ending homelessness without talking about affordable housing. And the same is true. And so in this case, Laura, I really want to know if you can tell us the drop in family homelessness by 22%, but at the same time having access year-round to shelter. How did you do it?
So in our first year, we saw a spike because we didn't have the prevention. In our first year, we actually saw an increase in homelessness because we were just at the beginning of our plan. We had not yet launched prevention. So the first week in January 2015, right after the mayor came into office, when the warmer months preceding that winter, families could not get access to shelter, 108 families entered shelter in that first week of January. You compare that to this week so far, and so far this week we've had 14 families who have needed a shelter stay. And so what that means is that we are more frequently helping people before that housing crisis results in the need for a shelter stay, helping them stay stable in communities with the supports that they need, and helping families transition out of homelessness. And the reason why prevention and year-round access is so important is that if people can't trust, if the weather gets warm and a situation that is already tenuous falls apart, that they can get the help they need, they're not going to accept prevention. And so that has been absolutely critical in getting us to where we are. We've seen 33% fewer families coming into our system over the last year compared with 2016.
That's fantastic. I have one more question, and that is, how are you going to keep the momentum going in 2018? What are some new initiatives that you're doing?
Well, we have really, together with the ICH, with our partners, really put the scaffolding in place to really continue to accelerate our progress and our reforms. So the exciting things that are happening in the coming year, we are about to launch a flexible rent subsidy pilot, and it's called DC Flex. That means that it bridges the gap between what people are earning and the cost of their rent at a fraction of the cost of a Section 8 or a local rent supplement voucher. It's something, and it's flexible so that people have the autonomy to control the resources in their household. So we have that pilot starting. It's a 5-year pilot in partnership with the lab. We'll study the results, and we think that will be an important way that we're helping families stay stable here in the district while their earnings are catching up to the price of housing. Also this year, we will close DC General. Yes. A promise that right? This is, and no one thought it was going to be easy, and it's not easy. But we have properties under construction. The first 3 short-term family housing sites will come online this year in wards 4, 7, and 8. We will be well on our way in construction in the other wards, and we will close DC General, something that we know residents care about. It was one of the important commitments the mayor made, and one that we will realize in a strategy that includes every single ward in our community.
That's great. Thank you, Laura. I'm joined now by our Director of Employment Services, Odie Donald. But first, before we talk about the connection between, in pathways to the middle class with employment, I want to tell you a little bit more about housing, because really this is a signature set of accomplishments, but also it's really the vision and the leadership of Mayor Bowser and many other parts of the administration working towards creating more affordable housing in the district. It's actually been nationally recognized because not just of the resource commitment, but the policy commitment, the practical work that we have done. And indeed, the district was awarded in 2017 the very prestigious Larson Award by the Urban Land Institute, recognizing Mayor Bowser's leadership in this role, which is a great accomplishment. My boss, Brian Kenner's has 3 jobs. I have 5 main priorities that I want to share with you, and it related to affordable housing, because you can't just use production as your only tool. You have to produce new affordable housing, but you also have to preserve existing affordable housing so that anyone who is here in an affordable unit can stay here, and that is key. But we also want to grow home ownership, and have done so. We've increased the size of the Home Purchase Assistance Program, the amount of funds that support that, and for our district employees, the Employee Assisted Housing Program as well, where we've doubled the amount of down payment assistance that's available. We also have looked specifically at, in terms of helping to end homelessness by, at this point in the last 3 years, creating almost 500 units of permanent supportive housing that are permanent housing stock in the district for use by our homeless system to house families and individuals. And we're also doing other elements of community revitalization, small business technical assistance. We're building not just housing, but communities and neighborhoods. We're looking at vacant and blighted property, and with the newest program that we have, Vacant to Vibrant, we are making sure that we are taking assets that the district has and returning them to neighborhoods as assets for affordable workforce housing. I can't go without, of course, mentioning the $100 million and the Housing Production Trust Fund. I can't tell you how much we are the envy around the country for that commitment. The mayor, for 3 years, has put that $100 million in her budget. The council has approved it. It really is the tool that makes a lot of what we do possible, where government will help fund what the private sector doesn't fund, but they'll come along if we are there. It's really an important accomplishment and step. Preservation, you'll hear more about as the preservation fund that the mayor created out of her Strike Force strategy is really going to become a second major funding tool that many other cities don't have, but that we're going to use to preserve our existing affordable housing.
Well, okay. Hey, I'm excited to be here and ask you a couple of questions, because everybody knows if you want to have housing, you got to have a job. So, you know, I'm definitely excited to ask a few questions. And as we try to get more Washingtonians, you know, into full employment, I think the key thing I'd like to know, all of these new programs coming together. Over my Christmas break, I was reading up on some of your work, and I'm very interested in the District Opportunity to Purchase Act and inform some more people about what's going on there.
Sure, that's, it's not a new initiative. It's a law that's been on the books, but we will be implementing it for the first time in 2018. We've done the program regulations and design, and we know that this is the opportunity where the district government has to be informed of all homes sales for buildings that have affordable housing in them, and that we have that opportunity to purchase them, to preserve them as affordable housing. It's a significant bill. It's been 10 years, and we're doing it in 2018.
Exciting. So I guess with that being a newly implemented initiative, today I'm walking into the office after the holiday, and there was a gentleman who came in from Ward 8 looking for an apprenticeship opportunity, and he got connected with an electrical apprenticeship opportunity today, and he said, and told me about something I wasn't fully familiar with. He said, well, so what's going on with this Vagrant to Vibrant thing in my neighborhood? And so I didn't have all of the answers for him, but I told him I'd ask you. And
well,
so,
that's, and I'm glad you did, Director. Thank you. Vacant to Vibrant, DC, an initiative that we announced late last month, and one that it was going to take district-owned properties that my Department of Housing and Community Development owns, and return them to neighborhood assets. And we have a 5-point strategy to make that happen. First, we will be auctioning off about 35 of the properties, and that is available. That will be an online auction in mid-January, and that is going to be an opportunity for anyone to be able to purchase and then be able to create affordable workforce housing out of those both lots that you see around the city and as well as some buildings as well. But that's not all. We're providing opportunities for our certified business enterprises. There will be 8 specific lots that will be set aside where those entities will have the chance to create workforce housing there as well. We're also preserving in some of the areas green space through a partnership with Casey Trees, and we also will have the first ever tiny homes demonstration project here in the district, which will be a great opportunity to see what that means for the district in terms of maximizing space with tiny homes. I know it's a favorite of the mayor's as well. Exactly. I think Mrs. Bowser knows that too. As well as working with our partners at the Housing Finance Agency with their Housing Investment Partnership, again, creating more ownership, workforce housing. Because when you do have a job, you want to know that you're going to be able to live where you want in the district and to be able to afford that.
Well, so I introduced myself earlier. I'm Odie Donald II. I'm the director of the DC Department of Employment Services. And I always say this everywhere, is that I'm excited to be here. And that is not only because I get to work for the greatest mayor in the United States of America, but also because I get to work on behalf of district residents. And so I'll I guess just mention a few key things that we've been able to do over the first 3 years of the mayor's tenure. And so I think the first thing is while all of the numbers are not out yet, but just through FY16, more than $831 million have been reinvested into the District of Columbia in employment wages. So that's a really big deal. And so a lot of people don't necessarily understand what that means. So just to make it real plain for you, you know, if you have a workforce system that just does a 2-to-1 return on investment, they would say that that's stellar. And so our workforce programs are funded at, you know, maybe less than a third of that. And so that means you have a 3-to-1 return on investment. So I'd say that's one of the best in the country. And so I think the statistics would say that as well. But on top of that, there has been a lot of coordinated work that has got us those type of results. I think you're very familiar with the expansion of SYEP to 22 to 24-year-olds. You also know about our launching of Apprenticeship DC, which has doubled the number of DC apprentices since the mayor took office. In addition to that, there have been over 300,000 services delivered to 100,000 DC residents. 35,000 of them were employed at the end of FY16, which we expect when those numbers come out here in the next month to be almost double that. And so that's a big deal, because that means there are a lot of people who did not have access to services, who did not have access to jobs, and who were not able to buy some of these new shiny, tiny houses that are coming on the market, who now have an opportunity to do so. And that's just an exciting thing to be able to be a part of. And so I won't talk a whole bunch more about what we've done, but I think one key area that I'm really excited about is that we have been able to work with our partners in housing, our partners at DHS, where we were just recognized nationally for connecting TANF recipients to employment through the workforce system, which hasn't been done in our region and really hasn't been done in the country. And so that's a really big deal as well. And on top of that, this entrepreneurship program, which if you haven't heard about it, with all the CBE opportunities and key opportunities through Aspire to Entrepreneurship, we'd love to have you help us spread the word, because there are 13 new businesses that are not only, you know, employers who were DC residents who were unemployed, who can now provide for their families. They've actually hired 40 additional people who can now provide for their families also. And so that's something that is new to workforce development and new to us.
Great. Well, those sound like some excellent ways to connect our citizens with employment programs at your agency. And I think everyone knows that the tremendous job you've been doing since becoming director, and that you addressed some of the challenges that the agency had. Share with that, because it's a terrific accomplishment what you've been able to do in transforming the agency.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't say it's me. I mean, we got a super team. I think some of those folks are in here today, and so I won't, you know, call them all out. Mr. Charles Jones, Deputy Mayor. We've got, you know, we under Deputy Mayor Courtney Snowden, LaJuan Strickland, Dr. Morris Hughes, Deputy Director Melanie Winfield. I'm sorry, I give my folks shine. We, you know, they work really, really hard, because, and that's important, because the turnaround, I mean, we have had some challenges in the District of Columbia long before I came, long before our mayor took office. I think, before I came, Leo Miller, I hope I don't get him in trouble, but he asked, "You sure you want to go up there?" He was saying that there had been almost 2 decades of, less than stellar administration of programs, so much so that 2 of our key programs that put people on a pathway to the middle class were under high risk. And so what that means is that you are almost criminally negligent in your delivery of services. And so that's a part of what our mayor inherited, and in less than 3 years, not only usually you go from high risk to at risk, and then they come in and do a monitoring and kind of kick you around a little bit until they let you off the list, but what they did in our less than 3 years, and it's never been done before in less than 5, is that they took us completely off of high risk on September 5th of 2017, and then on December 5th, we were off at risk for UI, so big deal.
Congratulations, that's terrific.
No, congratulations to the district. That's a big deal for our people. So.
That's great. Well, thank you very much.
Absolutely.
The district has a wild creative side.
Are you ready? Yeah.
DC has always been a place where creativity and artistry and community has thrived.
We are an artful city.
Art brings culture, art brings vibrancy, so to see the city of DC really supporting that is something that I can definitely get with.
DC is truly the capital of creativity, and the purpose of 202 Creates is to highlight that and show the economic impact that they have on the District of Columbia.
There is more to me than what's on TV, but not just me, there's more to us.
We're the cool kids, and we're making DC the cool city and a destination through the creative economy.
The DC government actually taking an interest in servicing and growing and developing the creative economy, I think sends a message to the creative community that this is the place to be.
I believe that we have many good artists in Washington DC, especially young artists that need to be exposed. This gives them a chance with that exposure.
My name is Carolina Mayorga.
My name is Deanna Dorsey.
My name is Mohammed Hill.
My name is Nicole Gallup.
My name is Desiree Van Frederick.
My name is Marvin Church.
My name is Joe Clare, and I create.
And I create.
In the 202.
And I create.
In the 202.
And I create.
And I create in the 202.
Good evening, everyone. I'm here to tell you we're a third of the way through the program. But first, I'm up here to say thank you. Thank you all for being here. We have transition committee members who were here with us when we started 4 years ago. We were in this room and we gathered and we talked about our first document that we put out as a team, and that was the Bowser administration transition plan. Yeah, you give a round of applause for that. So if you remember after the election, the mayor knew we had a short amount of time. We had 54 days to set up a government. It was probably the shortest transition in DC history. And what the mayor said was, well, we can't just go into this without something written down. So after many sleepless nights, with your help and with Lindsay Parker in front of a laptop, we were able to put together this report. But the reason we're here tonight is to update you on where we are on this report. So if you tonight, or this weekend, it's going to be cold, go to mayor.dc.gov/accountability, you'll be able to get an update to where we are in all of the promises that were on this report. So that's important for you to do. But we also know that in the other times that we met here in this room, we gave you an update as well. And many of you said, you're giving us a lot of information in a really short amount of time. isn't there a way for us to take this home with us? So we created for the first time, again, with the help of Lindsay Parker, the mayor's deputy chief of staff. Let's give Lindsay another round of applause. She's in the back there. Just give her a little nod. She's hiding now. But what we were able to do was give you some quick stats. So does anybody know what $1.74 billion represents? Anybody know? All right, well, the folks over there on the wall there, they know, because it is the largest annual investment in public education in the district's history. And Mayor Bowser did that last year. And you can applaud for that. And so that's in here, in this report, so you could take this home and memorize it. Do you know what 14% represents? Anybody? Where's Chief Newsham? So 14% is the amount that total crime in the District of Columbia is down from 2014 to 2017. That's right. So when we talk about a safer, stronger DC, there are real numbers behind it, data. So for the rest of this evening, for the rest of this month, and maybe even for the rest of this year, please fold this up, keep it in your pocket. For cabinet members, the mayor signed a mayor's order today that you must have this on you at all times. But look at these numbers, because we want you to share it. We know that we're making great progress, but we also know that we have more work to do. And we need all of you in order to do that. So we also want to take a moment, we do this every year, where we recognize a transition committee member who was extra helpful in the last year. So you're probably saying, well, how is a transition committee member helpful? So of course, I'm going to tell you. The first way is just by being sort of a sounding board for us. A lot of times we're in the Wilson building or we're in our offices and we don't really have a sense of how what we're going to say or what we're going to implement is going to be received. So I'll call someone like Linda Green and I'll say, Linda, how do you think this sounds? And then there's other times where transition committee members will give us unsolicited advice. John Boardman calls me often to tell me exactly how I'm doing. He's not shy about it. So we want you to keep doing that. There's another concrete way. We have folks from our Mayor's Office of Community Relations and Services here in the room. Can they stand up for a moment to be recognized? So the mayor likes to say that, we have a hands-on mayor, right? Rashad will say we have a same-day mayor. Chris Shorter will attest to that too, who likes to see things done in the same day. The Mokers, what they do is they reach out to the community, and they're our liaison to the community, and they're almost like a mini mayor when the mayor's not in that ward. And so what they do is the way they organize is they have neighborhood action teams. Those neighborhood action teams are, again, that sounding board for constituents' concerns to the individual Mokers. So that's another way. So if you're not a neighborhood action team member, you should meet the Moker for your ward, and you can find that on our mayor.dc.gov website as well. And then finally, if you haven't had an opportunity to meet Steve Walker, our director of the Mayor's Office of Talent and Appointments, he's got a board or commission for you. And so we've done a great job. 97% of our board and commission seats are filled. So let's give Steve and the team a round of applause for that, and the mayor. But there are constantly vacancies. So you can always go to moda.dc.gov and see what vacancies we have on our boards and commissions. And every once in a while, we have some job opportunities as well. So that's another good website to write down and to share with folks. But like I said, we wanted to recognize a transition committee member. And tonight we're going to recognize one who did all three of those things. She's a sounding board for us when we have a policy decision to make or a personnel decision to make. She's a neighborhood action team member for her and her neighbors in Ward 3. And she's also someone who we look to, that was Phil Thomas, the Ward 3 Moker. She's also someone who has stepped up and served on a board or commission. So Mayor, if you want to come up, I want to see if we could have this year's 2017 Transition Committee Member of the Year, Monty Monash, come up to be recognized for her contributions. Please, can you take a picture for me?
Hello, I am Michelle Merriweather. I am a pre-K4 teacher at Bunker Hill Elementary School, and I am from Ward 5. I wanted to become a teacher because I've always had a compassion of working with children. I've also taught dance to children. I've been involved with theater with children. And I just knew there was something that I wanted to do. I grew up in this neighborhood, and I can give back to the community, to the children and to the families of Ward 5 and in this particular area of Bunker Hill. My hope for my students, any student that comes through DCPS, is to be the best that you can be. Thank you so much, Mayor Bowser. The Washington Teachers Union contract benefited me. First of all, our planning period so that we can refocus and regroup and make sure that we're doing well is still instated in this contract. And that we have the time dedicated to professional development and growth is also in the contract. Your efforts, the union's effort, working together, coming to the bargaining table with everyone, I so appreciate everything that you have done for us and for the teachers of DCPS.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jenny Niles, and I'm the Deputy Mayor for Education, and I am proud to be here tonight to talk to you about students in schools. I am also very lucky that I am joined by a very special student who might not have had school today.
Good evening, everybody. My name is William Bell. I'm a sophomore at Woodrow Wilson High School, and I'm glad to be here.
I'm excited about education in DC. We have our scores are increasing, our graduation rates are up, our enrollment is increasing, and we are home to the fastest improving urban school district in the country. Mayor Bowser and I have set out, I should rephrase that. Clearly it's Mayor Bowser. And I am there to support her in looking at all the different ways that we can support our kids throughout the district. What I wanted to do was ask William a few questions. And so I wanted to start by saying, William, what courses are you taking and what activities do you do?
Yes, so one of the great things about Wilson being so big is that it offers an array of courses. So currently I am taking AP Computer Science, Honors Intro to Engineering Design, and Honors Pre-Calculus because I want to be an engineer. And Wilson also offers and Wilson also offers an array of extracurricular activities. And so I am a part of the robotics team for the Simultech Academy, and then I am on the lacrosse team, and I am a contributor to the Beacon, the newspaper.
What I'm excited about is clearly William is getting prepared for college. And that well-roundedness is exactly what we want to make sure that every one of our students in Washington, D.C. receives. Mayor Bowser, we initiated the adding to our extracurriculars this year. And in DCPS, our middle schoolers not only could do coding, could do lacrosse, but even could do archery in 6th grade. And we know that when kids have that well-rounded education, they're better prepared for their college, career, and life. What do you want to do after you graduate, and how have you been prepared by DCPS?
Yeah, I'll tell you how DCPS has prepared me to become an electrical engineer when I want to grow up. Some of the programs that Mayor Bowser has initiated have been, one, the MBYLI program. So I did this over the summer. It was a program at Catholic University, and we sat in workshops and learned leadership traits. And then the, what's the next one? Yes, the Kids Ride Free program. So I live in Ward 7, and my school is in Ward 3. And so it takes me a long time to get to school, but also before the Kids Ride Free program, I had to pay a monthly pass to get to school. But because of this program, I now can ride free to school. And then another program is the Everyday Counts program, where we tackle and address the problem of truancy and attendance policies in DCPS.
And I have to say that one of the things that William did was part of a team of high school students that came to try and figure out ways that we could get our kids to school and decrease absenteeism and increase attendance. And I'm really excited because when I think about William, I think of all the colleges that should be knocking down his door because he is ready to be an electrical engineer and do that back here in DC. One of the things I'm glad that William mentioned also was the importance of attendance. Clearly, our students can only achieve if they're in school. And our Everyday Counts initiative that the mayor initiated is doing that in a number of ways. Not only do we have the Kids Ride Free on Metro Rail, which William mentioned, but we also are funding Show Up, Stand Out, which is a program to increase attendance throughout the city. We also have resources for teachers and for school leaders and incentives around attendance. And we even, as I mentioned before, we've done this Everyday Counts design challenge, which is engaging our high school students in particular in helping us solve these problems. It's particularly exciting for me to get to work with students like William and see what we need to do as a district, and what the mayor and I and actually everybody in this room are committed to is not only for your success through college, career, and life, but every other child who lives in Washington, D.C. success in every school, in every neighborhood, and in every ward. And so with that, I'd like to welcome two guests up to the stage who are champions of education in D.C., Catherine Bradley and Ben Williams.
So good evening, everyone. I'm Catherine Bradley. I am the, thank you, Robert. I am the founder and chair of City Bridge Foundation and City Bridge Education, and we've been working for about 15 years now to invest in the things that will help DC students get the best possible education. So thank you, Mayor Bowser, for everything you've done to support that trajectory. So I want to start with a bit of a shout out. Where has William gone here? So taking AP Computer Science, William, you have to lean forward here so I can see you. AP Computer Science and a career trajectory as an electrical engineer, I just have to say one thing, keep going. That is an awesome thing to do. I hope you persevere. And I hope you tell all your friends that this kind of path is going to set you up so beautifully for a future where globalization and technology are bringing so much change. You're going to be beautifully positioned. So thank you for everything that you're doing. So my job is to do a quick overview on the progress that we've had here in education. And starting about 10 years ago with mayoral control, some very intentional decisions were made, because this stuff doesn't just happen by accident. Intentional decisions were made to make DC what I like to call a talent mecca for the best teachers and leaders from all over the country. And then to make very intentional investments in the things that really mattered for student learning and student growth. There are lots of data points that show us that this really is working. I'm going to give you two. The first one comes from a test that the federal government gives us all over the country every other year. And it's a really useful measuring stick to figure out how are we as a city doing compared to our peer cities all around the country. And the answer is, we're doing unbelievably well. We are the fastest growing city in the nation, and our kids have been achieving like that for a sustained period of time. That doesn't happen by accident. It happens because of intentional decisions that leaders and teachers and principals have made here across the years. That growth has also been across all demographic groups in the city. It's a real thing to celebrate and be proud of. Second data point is growth of a different kind, that our school system is growing. After decades and decades of real stagnation, and of decreases in student enrollment, our schools, our DCPS system, and our charter system are growing. There are thousands of new families choosing to enroll every single year. They do that now through something called a common lottery, where families can choose from an array of incredible schools that we have here to offer. So a couple quick examples, and I'll do you. If you're interested in foreign language, you can have a school like Yu Ying, which teaches Chinese. If you want a school that really focuses on the needs of boys, you go to Dr. Williams' school, Ron Brown College Prep. If you want your kids to learn tech skills, you have choices like McKinley Tech and Washington Leadership Academy. It is remarkable what has been created here in DC. Where I sit in my job, I see some of the innovation that's right on the horizon, and I know that DC is just getting started. So I believe that if we stay the course, if we really focus on where we know that we're weak, and if we double down on those places we know we're strong, this remarkable trajectory for DC students is going to continue. So thank you.
It also takes intentional support. And so first, from me, thank you very much for the support that you've given the district. You talked about the past 10 years and when mayoral control began about 10 years ago. What are some of the challenges that you see our schools having in the next 10 years?
So the really obvious one that I won't go into because I think everyone knows this is we have a very stubborn and very large achievement gap in this city. I think everyone understands that has to be focus number one. So I'll mention, thank you, I'll mention something that I think is there on the horizon that we can't miss, and that is our city's gotten a lot more expensive for teachers to live in. If we are going to continue to be what I call talent mecca, so the place that can attract the best teachers and leaders in the country, we are going to have to work very, very hard to make sure that teachers can come here and live and support themselves. And as our system grows, we're going to need more and more of those teachers every single year. So I think doing the things now that make sure we don't lose our status as the best destination for great teachers to be in the country is something we have to focus on immediately.
What makes you hopeful for the future of public education in this city?
So there's a lot that makes me hopeful. Going back to the growth comment I made before, there's this virtuous circle happening right now with families moving into the district, choosing public education, great schools are getting created to serve that parent demand, and then those great schools attract more families to the district. So if we can keep this up, if we don't mess it up, I think we have a really wonderful trajectory ahead.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So now I unfortunately have to move to the hot seat. This is never easy, but I do want to talk about, we talked earlier, or Ms. Bradley talked earlier about intentionality. But part of that is being extremely bold. And we know that our Mayor Bowser and her team they're very bold, they're solution-oriented, and they're people of action. And Mayor Bowser pushed her team to make sure that we address that achievement gap that Ms. Bradley talked about. If you want to know the statistics, you can look online, but know that young men of color, young people of color, there's a huge disparity of their performance according to versus their peers' performance. What's even more alarming is 3 years ago when they were looking at the data, 48% of our African American young men were graduating on time in 4 years. Approximately 55% of our Latino young men were graduating on time in 4 years. That's a problem. That's a loss of generations. There had to be bold steps after that. The mayor and her team, I know this because I was sitting from afar trying to figure out what they were going to do. They pushed the Empowering Males of Color initiative. That initiative was bold because they set a number that they wanted to make sure that they reached to provide funds to the schools, innovation grants that were not tied to their public budgets, that were private dollars, that would allow them to do different types of programs, to create mentor programs. The mentorship, I believe, of 500 new African-American men to go into schools and actually be mentors to our elementary students. They gave the opportunity for our elementary schools to have single-gender advisories, which meant a great deal because there were check-ins on not only on a weekly basis, but almost on a daily basis because there were in-school mentors. I also know that at Eastern High School, it allowed for our young men to go overseas and have service opportunities. For most of you in this room, you know in order to compete, you have to understand other cultures. You have to understand the power of service. You have to be an agent of change, and the only way to be an agent of change is if you're exposed to that. An even bolder step was deciding that that 48%, that 55% is not acceptable. We have to go further. And 3 years ago, this idea of the Empowering Males of Color High School was only an inkling. It was very tiny, but now we know it is Ron Brown College Preparatory High School. I will say that's extremely bold because it could have gone one or two ways. We could be sitting here and I might not be sitting in this seat. And it could have been challenged and people could have continuously said this is not the right thing for this city, but you stood behind it. And she stood behind it because we knew again that there was this alarming issue in our city, and it needed to be addressed immediately. And what we've been able to do at Ron Brown is we've been able to create an environment that our young men enjoy coming to school. We know, especially with our new chancellor, the importance of social-emotional learning. We've only had 7 suspensions in the past 18 months, and that's for young men of color in this city. Our chancellor states this regularly, and I've heard our chancellor say this when she's come to our schools. Love is the most important thing, and she sees it, he sees it, I feel it every day. This is not a job, this is a passion, and I know that our young men feel loved, and that's why their in-seat attendance is 90%, one of the highest in the city in high schools. So now the tough part, answering a few questions.
Hi. My name is Daniela Anello, and I'm head of school at DC Bilingual Public Charter School. I've also recently been appointed to the State Early Childhood Development Coordinating Council, so it's a pleasure to be here with you. In your time leading Ron Brown, what have you learned about student success that you'd want other school leaders in the district to know?
The importance of believing in your students, building relationships. I think far too frequently, our young people feel that everybody is there just to get a paycheck. Especially our young men of color who are demeaned in public, who have stereotypes presented to them on a daily basis, a media that presents them as predators. They need to know that you care. If you came to Ron Brown for the first 3 months, you saw young men running out of the building, throwing all their blazers and ties on the ground. But now you see young men who don't want to leave on the last day of school, who show up 3 days before school starts and asking what you can do. They feel loved in that space, and it's a space that they feel safe enough taking chances and failing. The only way that young people can feel safe taking chances and failing is if they build a relationship with somebody in the building. We have to be bold and innovative, and I think that's what the mayor and our current chancellor is helping us with, is to provide us those opportunities at schools to find innovative ways to attract our young people into the school space. I'm extremely proud of the young men at Ron Brown because they've taken ownership of their space now. We are now becoming more of the facilitators of the work, and they are now becoming the mainstays of how this work actually is supposed to be as a Ron Brown young man. And once they've bought into your system, once they've bought into who you are as a person and you show the consistency of that relationship and that love, it can go a long way.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Washington, D.C. has made huge investments for bilingual education programs. As a matter of fact, in 2016-17 school year, Houston Elementary opened as the first dual language school on the east side of Anacostia River. and this brought the number of bilingual school programs offered through DCPS up to 11. In the charter sector, there are 6 bilingual elementary education schools. And so this gives us about 17 school options that offer bilingual education in the city. However, even still, the wait list numbers to get into high-quality bilingual schools are extremely high. In DC Bilingual last year, we received 1,600 applicants, students trying to get into the school, and they were coming from all 8 wards. That means that there were families willing to commute 45 to an hour, long commutes every morning and every afternoon to drive their children to school. Of the 1,600 applicants that we received, we were actually only able to offer seats to about 10 new students after you take into account sibling preference and staff preference. This means that there's a huge demand for additional highly effective bilingual school programs. And this is not only because people see the need for knowing more than one language as a good thing, as something that's beneficial to people in life, but it's also because the bilingual school programs that are running well are also teaching the concept of being proud of who you are, of where you come from, of showing respect for all cultures and all traditions, and being part of a broader community that is respectful and that is kind and that accepts everyone for who they are and for the things that make them unique and outstanding members of the community. So bilingual schools not only offer the opportunity to learn a second language, but it also opens up the doors for people to see things in different ways and be appreciative of everyone around them. So it helps us connect to a much broader community, which I believe is key for making people successful in this society.
Daniela, I really appreciate the emphasis that you shared on the importance of people becoming bilingual, and really all students. And so I'd love for you were talking about pride, to share what you were most proud of in the last year at your school.
So charter schools are held accountable by the Public Charter School Board, and there is an accountability system called the School Quality Report that ranks all schools based on their performance on a bunch of different measures. Last year, our school, DC Bilingual, received 81% on the School Quality Report. And when you take all of the elementary charter schools that are offering the program that our school is offering, which goes from pre-K3 to grade 5, this percentage, 81%, ranks our school among the top 3 highest performing elementary charters in the city. And of the 3 highest performing elementary charters in the city, our school serves the highest number of students receiving special education services, as well as English language services. So that means that we have been able to figure out how to make bilingual education work, but also figure out how to close the achievement gap. Because we are educating students, 78% of our students receive free and reduced lunch, and we are coming up with ways to close this achievement gap and offer this beautiful opportunity to learn a second language while being proud of the culture and tradition that each student brings and is respectful of seeing all around them. Another celebration that we had regarding last year's success is our growth measure. As you know, one of the criteria in the School Quality Report is to look at how students are learning from year to year, and we received all of the points that a school could receive in terms of growth. And to give you an example of what that means, our 3rd graders, when they first took the PARCC assessment in 2014, they received, 21% of them received the highest score, which is 4+ in English language arts. The same cohort of students last year, when they were in 5th grade, took the PARCC again, and their 4+ score was at 70% at 4+. So this speaks volumes of the growth we're talking about that school leaders need to see in the schools that they lead. It's that students are learning year to year and that we're measuring the success of the students in a way where we can tell if we're doing the right thing for children or not, and for families as well. And so, thank you for letting me express this to you and tell you about the value that our particular school program has for bilingual education, but also for being able to close the achievement gap and help our students become successful in middle school and high school.
Thank you. So good evening. My name is Antoine Wilson. Honored to be the Chancellor in DC Public Schools. Exactly 11 months and 3 days ago, I began, and I'm excited to have an opportunity to serve as Chancellor in the fastest improving urban school district in the country. Now, many people hear that, and they say, well, what is that based on? And I just want to make sure you know that it's not some type of fiction that was made up. That on the National Assessment of Educational Progress, the Transitional Urban District Assessment, the District of Columbia at one time was last in terms of student progress and looking at fourth grade students. And the improvement in the district over the last 5 years has outpaced every other urban school district that takes the assessment. Now the district is first in terms of improvement. So it's not made up. In addition to that, we've seen improvement on the park assessment. You've heard that mentioned already, but it's important you recognize that every ward, every group of students throughout the city, the district has shown improvement, and DCPS grew faster than any other district in the country that takes that assessment over the course of last year. So we want to make sure we recognize that. Now, I want to make sure that we know, that you all know that the district is really building upon success from the prior capital commitment and investments that Mayor Bowser has made. So whether you're talking about improvements in middle school, because before I came and having been a middle school principal and a middle school teacher, I understand the importance of middle school, that students make really important life-changing decisions, deciding decisions in middle school. The district significantly stepped up its investment in middle school, and what we've seen as a result of that, we've seen increased student attendance in the middle schools. The fastest improving sector within our district are our middle schools in terms of student achievement. And so that investment is paying off. And what are students doing? Students are taking more rigorous courses. We offer algebra in all of our middle schools. That was not something that was available to many students across the district just a few years ago. Now, I enjoy working with Mayor Bowser. It's hard for me to sit still, I gotta tell you this. I enjoy working for Mayor Bowser, and one of the reasons why is because it's been clear to me that it's not just this idea of preparing students to have an opportunity for the middle class, but the concept of what we're trying to get done here is quite simple. I want to make it as easy as possible. It's privilege. The idea that students are privileged because they attended a DC public school. And because of that, what we are doing is we are investing in an effort that says that all of our students should feel loved, challenged, prepared to positively influence society and thrive in life. Who do we want it for? We want it for every student, in every school, every day. So we're going to double down on college and career efforts. We're going to make sure our babies, our kindergartners through second grade students, they leave second grade able to read. We're going to make sure that our students are getting opportunities to pursue experiences abroad. We're going to continue to make sure that our students have access to technology. I want to appreciate the work that the mayor has done. I want to appreciate all of the support that we have received as an educational sector. And I just want to close by saying that we all have a role to play in terms of the work that we're doing over the course of next year. We will ensure that our students receive the support that they need, and I look forward to our work ahead. Thank you.
Thanks to our security cameras for helping us find Biscuit. Biscuit is like the one who evens out our family.
The one who always has fun with us.
Well, it is the story going viral on social media. Biscuit the dog missing from a home in Southeast. DC police, even the mayor, Muriel Bowser, used the hashtag #FindBiscuit.
Biscuit went missing now. Tears of joy.
Good evening, everyone. I'm going to ask you to do something for me, and I'm going to say DC is, and you're going to say safer, stronger. All right, and then we'll get out of here. DC is? Safer, stronger. All right, let's try that one more time because you're tired. You want to get home to your family. DC is? Safer, stronger. I'm Dr. Roger Mitchell. I'm your chief medical examiner here in Washington, D.C., and I am proud to be here representing my colleagues in the public safety cluster of government. What's exciting about what my colleagues are doing, Office of Victim Services has increased the hotline calls by 209% by increasing access this year. Department of Forensic Sciences is double accredited and has obliterated the rape kit, sexual assault kit backlog in the District of Columbia. The Department of Corrections partners with Howard University and Georgetown to give college-like education to inmates in the District of Columbia. And Homeland Security, or HSEMA, did a fantastic job on our 2017 inauguration and supporting the Women's March, where we know our mayor loves to wear that hat. But what's most important, how our mayor has led us to understand that violence is not just a law enforcement issue. She has led the charge in understanding that violence is a public health issue and that we can't arrest our way out of it. And so all the things that you've heard today, education, economics, housing, healthcare, all are violence prevention related initiatives. And so if there's equity and opportunity in all of these areas, then we will see a decrease in violence in the city. And I'm happy to bring up my colleagues to tell you about how we have seen a decrease in violence in this city. And I'm proud to bring up Chief Dean and Director Holmes. Give them a round of applause.
Good evening. I'm Karima Holmes, the Director of the Office of Unified Communications.
And I'm Gregory D., the Fire Chief. So I'm excited to be here tonight because when we get to talk about the fire department, we get to talk about all the things that we do. Our mission is to provide, take care of people's lives and to protect property. But we do that in a variety of ways. We do that through healthcare, pre-hospital healthcare. We do that through fire suppression. But then what you'll see is we provide hazardous material, technical rescue, and marine services throughout the district. On the fire prevention side, we have our fire marshal, we have our Homeland Security, and we have our public educators. When I joined the Bowser administration, I was told that we have some tough decisions to make because the department was at a crossroads. So my second day here in the city, we had a fire on 7th Street, and a firefighter lost his life. I'm in the emergency room working with the family, working with our firefighters, and I look to my left, and Mayor Bowser's joined us. And she's right there with her sleeves rolled up, working very closely with the family. And she's been there ever since. And so that's provided a lot of support throughout the district. But we still had to deal with those tough issues. And I remember sitting down there and looking at her administration, and we were going to have to make some decisions we hadn't made before. Our challenges at that time was a very extremely high call volume and response times because our units were crisscrossing the city. We had high-profile incidents that were in the paper. We had a lack of preventative maintenance on our vehicles, and our training had to become more consistent. So Mayor Bowser doesn't hesitate, and she had to do something the district had never done before. And we decided to bring in private ambulances to assist us in transporting the citizens after they were evaluated by our members to the hospital. That allowed us to have more time to be able to do some training with our people. It also allowed us an opportunity to, she provided more income, more value to bringing vehicles and apparatus in so that we could actually have vehicles ready. In our training now, our members are getting training that allows them to do their job and they stay fresh in what they're doing. But not being satisfied, she wanted to make sure that we had more residents in the department. So we offered an exam, entrance exam, for the first time in 8 years, and we are now hiring residents from the District of Columbia to be in the department. And I would like to tell you that was the end of my story, but she wanted us to make sure that all the residents were participating in what we do here and taking care of each other. So we started a hands-on heart program, and we thought we could probably do maybe 5,000 a year. Mayor Bowser felt we should be more aggressive. So to date, we've trained over 35,000 people in hands-on heart. The hands-on heart program actually has been very productive, and what we're seeing is that the number of people where citizen bystanders come up and help them when they're in cardiac arrest, and also our cardiac arrest survival rate, which is the number of people that leave the hospital, has continued to increase over the last 3 years. And so our goal is this, is that we're trying to create a village where everybody that, when you call 911, especially for somebody in cardiac arrest, you don't just call 911, but then you're able to provide care to that person. And you're able to provide care to your family and to strangers. And we also have a new initiative, which is Pulse Point. And that's an app that we put on your phone, and if you're someplace, after you register, if someone has a cardiac arrest, we will notify you, and you can go assist that person also. So thank you.
Thank you. That's awesome. So that's awesome. Obviously, you and I have a very strong partnership. We're kind of like siblings. But more importantly, our departments have a strong partnership. And one of the things that we've been looking at is the amount of 911 calls we receive into my agency that are not true emergencies. Can you talk a little bit about an initiative that's coming up that's going to help us look at some calls that are medical, low acuity calls, and how we can make sure that those callers are getting the help and the health care that they need?
Yes, but also say that I appreciate the fact that Kareem and me came in about the same time, and we've been working very closely because we overlap all the time, so I do appreciate that. So this spring, we're going to be launching a nurse triage line, and the idea behind that is that we are going to have a registered nurse talk to patients that we consider low acuity to determine how to get them care, because when you call 911, it is your emergency. But it doesn't mean that you always get a fire truck there or an ambulance there. And so we'll be able to get people connected with health care so they continue to receive care without taking away from services that are needed for critical emergencies.
Thank you, Chief. So now I'm going to welcome my other brother, Chief Newsham.
Good evening.
While you get settled, I'm going to talk a little bit about some things at the Office of Unified Communications. So OUC is the district's 911 and 311 center. We handle about 3 million calls a year for service. And so that's about 200, a little over 200 an hour. So for the time that we've been here, my call takers have taken a couple hundred calls. But what was really important is when I came into the agency, Mayor Bowser gave me the task of making sure that the agency was effective and efficient. And the way to make sure that the agency was effective and efficient was staffing. The 911 Center hadn't hired any call takers for 8 years before the Mayor Bowser's administration. And so since Mayor Bowser gave us the resources, we have hired over 60 call takers. Half of those call takers are on the 911 side, and about 35 of those call takers are on the 311 side. We actually brought in those 35 call takers through another mayoral program called LEAP, Learn, Earn, Advance, and Prosper. Yay! It's awesome. But not only is that program helping with the staffing, it has also helped with our numbers. Our call hold time is down. We're able to process calls faster because we have time to train our call takers. And we've not only looked at staffing, we also looked at technology. So with the support from the mayor's office, we've been able to give the district residents different ways to reach 311. So you not only can call 311, you can now text to 311. We upgraded our mobile app, our website, and Twitter has become very popular. So we literally have somebody that mans Twitter, and you can put in a service request through Twitter with 311. On 911, we also introduced Text to 911. Text to 911 is a little different. Text to 911 is for those times you can't call 911. And that's very important for our vulnerable population, those who may be deaf, hard of hearing, can't speak, or maybe they're in a situation like a domestic violence situation and they don't want to use the phone because the suspect's nearby. And so those are just some of the initiatives that we've taken the 2 years that I've been in the agency to make sure that we're embracing DC values.
Well, that's excellent, Director Holmes, excellent. So, Director, as you know, I'm the Chief of Police, Pete Newsham. I wanted to, I'm a little bit at a disadvantage here, I have to tell you up front. Normally when we interview folks, we do it in a much smaller room. The deputy mayor told me that I could not read your Miranda rights during this interview, so I'll go easy. So just a couple of questions. What do you think is your biggest success since you've taken the helm over at OUC?
I think that the biggest success we have is unseen to the public, and that was just morale building in the agency. Along with the shortage of call takers, our call takers did not have a full training program. And so you had a group of individuals who came into a job and they were told to do the job and there was no continuing dispatch education. And that's very important. And so you have people that aren't trained, they take calls, and then you get the news reports that beats them down. And so since then, we have created an Office of Professional Standards and Training. We've offered over 50,000 hours of training for our call takers, and you can clearly see that in our call taking procedures. We get more compliments than complaints now because our call takers are trained to handle calls.
That is the heart of customer service, and you should be very proud of that accomplishment. I can tell you at the police department, sometimes folks are confused. They think we run the communications, and we don't get the complaints that we used to, and I attribute that to your leadership. So let's give her a round of applause. And so we have successes with your dispatchers and with my officers and with the firefighters on a daily basis. Do you have one scenario that really stands out in your mind as being an effective use or effective interaction between our two teams?
So I think it was this past April, in North Carolina, there was a double homicide of an elderly couple. The suspect was their son, their 36-year-old son, and he fled the scene in a white vehicle, and he kidnapped their 11-year-old grandchild. Okay. So later on that evening, about 8 p.m., my center received a 911 call, and it was a very irate individual who asked my 911 call taker to find a gas station because they were running out of gas, and they wanted something to drink. At the time, my call taker did not realize that this was the same vehicle, the same suspect that was wanted in North Carolina. So my call taker started asking questions. Okay, you need gas, where are you? And throughout the call, the caller started threatening a child that was in the car. And so that alerted my call taker that this is more serious than just getting gas. So we continued on the phone with the caller. It was a male and a female in the car. We continued on the phone with them, getting their location so we can tell them how to get to a gas station in DC. But at the same time, we were sending this information over through CAD to your officers. And we were giving them the information. We told them what we had over the phone. We're getting the location of the caller over the phone, and we're also pinging their cell phone. So there's technology available where we could ping your cell phone and kind of find out where you are. And so with this story, MPD was able to catch up with the vehicle and apprehend the suspects and actually save this child's life. And so that just shows how we work together.
I remember it very well. Well done. Thank you very much. Yep. So now we're inviting to the stage Del McFadden, who's going to run our Safer, Stronger Office of Neighborhood Safety and Engagement.
Got it. You
Welcome
got
back.
it. Great job. Great job. How are you all doing this evening? Great, great. Can we say safer, stronger, please? Safer, stronger. That's right. Okay.
All right. You can see up on the chart behind me that 2017 was a very successful year with regards to crime in the District of Columbia. We could not be more proud of the reductions in crime that we've seen in our city. You can see in 2017 we had a 22% reduction in violent crime in our city. Yes, that's a... We had an 11%. Thank you. We had an 11% reduction in overall crime in the city. Some of the numbers that I like to share with the public when I go out and speak is we had a 27% reduction in the number of robberies that we had in the District of Columbia. That is incredible. You don't see that in any other city across the country, that type of reduction. We had a 28% reduction in the number of burglaries that we had in our city. The reason I mention those two crimes in particular, because those are the crimes that our community feels are the most random. They feel that they are vulnerable to those two types of crimes. So for us to be able to achieve that the way we did as a city, Mayor Bowser, you should be so proud of those reductions. Congratulations.
Okay, Chief. So I'm going to talk to you afterwards about some tickets that I have. But right now, I just think this is very important. So can you explain how we get to these reductions? What was it that MPD did to get to these results?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we are state of the art. We have the cornerstone of American policing today is developing trust and legitimacy with the community that you serve. So one of the things that was rolled out by the mayor, she gave us the resources to roll out the largest in the country body-worn camera program. That, I cannot tell you, yes, give a round of applause. I cannot tell you the way that has built or just built upon the trust that we've been able to develop with our community. To let folks know that we're not hiding anything. When our police have interactions with the public, it's there for all to see. You can come in, you can look at the video, and you can decide. That was a huge achievement for our organization. The other things that I will talk about is that when you have that type of a relationship with your community, you have to listen to what they're saying. Okay, what was the community saying when Mayor Bowser came in and she inherited the retirement bubble? They're like, oh my God, the police department is shrinking. Guess what? In 2017, it was the first year in a number of years that we've increased the size of the Metropolitan Police Department. That was due to creative ideas like the Senior Police Officer Program, giving us retention and recruitment incentives going into 2018. I am absolutely convinced that we will be to 4,000 where we intend to be in the not too distant future. The other thing that I have to say, and I say this whenever I talk about crime, and this is the thing that I like the most about working in this administration, and you heard Dr. Mitchell mention it earlier, is that the number one recipe, the number one ingredient in the recipe for crime is lack of opportunity. If folks don't have housing, if folks aren't properly educated, if folks are in a homeless situation, If their substance abuse and their mental health issues aren't being treated appropriately, you're going to have crime. You're going to have increases in crime. And so I have been the recipient of a government that has achieved success in all of those areas. You've heard about those successes, yes. And if you all can do it again next year, I'm going to take the credit again. So keep it up. So talking about opportunity, this is something that we're very excited about. Del, you are going to stand up an agency that is going to provide opportunity for folks in our community. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, definitely. First, I want to say that you have your law enforcement piece, and the one's office is a non-law enforcement effort. And so definitely these cameras are on, so we definitely want to make that clear to the community. Standing the office up, we're following the vision of the mayor to identify the our most vulnerable residents in the District of Columbia, and working with these individuals who are responsible for some of the situations that's taking place in the District of Columbia, self-defeating behaviors, and being groomed for a life of violence and crime, and some who feel like they really have no options at all. So our job is to connect them to the services and resources that's going to elevate them to the next level so that they can be on the pathway to the middle class as well. So this is very important. We definitely want to meet these individuals where they are, and that is so important. In our office, we have our Safer and Stronger community team, and they work in specific PSAs in the District of Columbia. They've been working for about 3 years in these specific PSAs. They help connect young adults to much needed services. We also have our Community Stabilization Program, CSP, who's doing an amazing job. They work with every family that's impacted by a homicide here in the District of Columbia. And so we'll continue to do that work as well. And all of these efforts help the mayor in combating crime and violence here in the District of Columbia. So it's very important work, as you see.
Yep, I agree. And I tell you, Director McFadden, I can tell you no one is more excited about your office than I am.
Okay, definitely.
So you all have heard tonight from the directors, and you've heard two themes. You have heard the number one theme, which is success, that we have had over the past 3 years. And the other theme that we have heard is there has been one thread that is woven through that fabric of success, and that one thread is the mayor of the District of Columbia, Mayor Mayoral. So what we have done for you, Madam Mayor, is we have invited two special guests, and we're going to have those special guests come forward, and they're going to introduce you to the podium. Do we have Reagan and Biscuit? Are they here? Here comes Biscuit. Hi, hey, how's it going? How are you? Good to see you. Awesome, you doing good? All right. All right, you ready to go? All right, why don't you introduce the mayor?
Hello, everyone. I am Reagan, and I live in Ward 7. When I grow up, I want to be a scientist and an artist because I love science and art. Right before Christmas, my family lost our dog, Biscuit. But we are lucky because my mom and dad have security cameras that caught Biscuit leaving our gate with a stranger. The videos from our cameras got a lot of attention from the news media and social media, and that helped us find Biscuit. After Mayor Bowser tweeted to help us find Biscuit, she and her administration told us we could get a rebate for our security cameras. Thanks, Mayor Bowser, for the security camera program. We are so grateful, and now I would like to introduce our mayor, Mayor Mayoral Bowser.
Hey, Biscuit. Hey, Biscuit. Well, hello, everybody. Thank you for being here. Wow. Let's hear it for all of the members of our administration. and our supporters who have come out today to talk about the last 3 years. It is hard for me to believe in a lot of ways that this is our 4th meeting here at Gallaudet. Our first was in the transition period, and now this is our 3rd report. So let's say thank you to, I call it President Bobby, and all of our friends here at Gallaudet. Give them a big round of applause. And while you've heard a lot of thanks and appreciation for me, I think everybody in this room knows that we have a particularly talented group of people who have come to work for us, who have just laid it on the line for the residents of the District of Columbia, who understand, like I do, that we have been privileged to be given this opportunity at this time in our city to serve. And that opportunity cannot be squandered and will not be squandered because they are super smart, very dedicated, and very bold. So give all of them a round of applause. Let me just recognize members of my senior team, some of whom you've heard from already. Rashad Young, who is the city administrator for the District of Columbia. Thank you, Rashad. And John Falchicchio, who is my chief of staff. Give John a round of applause. And Beverly Perry, who's the senior advisor to the mayor. And Mark Toohey, who is the mayor's legal counsel. So thank you all for your leadership. I was visiting another city recently, and I asked them how many deputy mayors they had, and they were like, we have about 18. I said, 18? We have 5. So let me thank the deputy mayors who you've heard from some of them, and you've heard from directors who are leading very dynamic clusters of work in our city. Kevin Donahue, who is the city administrator and the deputy mayor for public safety and justice. Thank you, Kevin. And Brian Kenner, who is the deputy mayor for economic development. And Hisuk Chung, who is the deputy mayor for health and human services. And Courtney Snowden, who is DemGeo, or the Deputy Mayor for Greater Economic Opportunity, and Jennifer Niles, who is the Deputy Mayor for Education. But the real purpose of tonight is to acknowledge you, the members of our transition committee. But before I do that, I also want to recognize the 70 members of my cabinet who, with their teams of 33,000 DC government workers, are really getting it done for our city. So with the members of the cabinet who are here, please stand up to be recognized for your great work. So earlier, John held up one of my favorite documents in the entire world, and that is our transition plan. Now, the truth is, when you're running, and some of you have run for office and you know exactly what this is about, you're charging forward to win. You're charging forward to win. You're charging forward to win. And then when you win, you realize that the next day, you have to stand up a government. And the truth is, for many elections, the race was pretty much determined at the Democratic primary in September. Well, that wasn't the case for us because we had a competitive general, and we really couldn't start planning for our government until the conclusion of that general election in November. We won, thank you very much. But it also meant that we had 54 days to stand up the government. We came together quickly, but more importantly, you came together quickly. I think within 2 weeks, we had 300 people from all 8 wards, every group in the District of Columbia, in the arts, in economic development, LGBTQ, and you name it. Every group was represented in that group of 300 people. We came here to lay out a plan for how we would recruit the best and the brightest and how we would start on day one, having a government that you could be proud of. People ask me frequently, what are you most proud of as you are talking about the last 3 years and looking forward to the next 5? What are you most proud of? And I say, I am proud that DC residents are proud. We promised that we would deliver a fresh start in how we run our government and how we lay out our plans, how we communicate, how we are committed to being ethical and transparent, and always telling the residents of the District of Columbia the truth and how we're going to get things done. And I have to tell you, as a person whose family has been here for 5 generations, I've never seen the level of DC pride that I see today. So I want to thank you all very much for that commitment to our city. So to all the members of the Transition Committee, our co-chairs, and all of you that stay in touch each and every day about how we can be better, how we can challenge ourselves more, how we can talk to more residents and go to more communities, I thank you. And the truth is that this meeting and the very lovely presentation that we saw today, wasn't that excellent to hear from everybody in a relaxed way? And I do want to ask you to go and look at the accountability plan. And this is a lovely report. But what it's built on is a quick and dirty Excel spreadsheet that lists every promise and our progress towards getting there. I'm also very proud that the district is indeed stronger than when we founded back in 2015. And I say that because our population is up, our revenues are up, our crime is down, our unemployment is down, we're creating more jobs, we're creating more housing. And we know that we've made tremendous progress, and we still have the gas and the steam to make even more. And that is, that's my whole job. My whole job is to make sure that I'm hiring the people and I'm making the decisions, and I am being a steward of leadership so that when my time is done being mayor, that we will pass off to the next leader and the next cabinet a better city that we're building for future generations of Washington, D.C. And you should all be proud that with all the uncertainty in the world, and who knew that I would be leading in Trump America? Who knew? I didn't know. But we are better able, better than most, to respond to the uncertainties that come with such unexpected changes. So I want to say thank you for your commitment. Thank you for filling this room each and every year. And thank you for challenging us to continue to take our city forward. You've heard all the accomplishments, so I thought I would give you a few fun things that have happened over the last 3 years. You might remember that we hosted a papal visit. You remember that? I want to thank our teams who got ready for that, because the Pope went to Philadelphia and they shut the city down. The Pope came to Washington, D.C., and we kept the city open. So thank you for that. You may remember that I made a trip, so you didn't have to, up to Trump Tower. And then again, to the Oval Office. So that is just reflective of an uncertain year where we've talked to more Republicans and to Donald Trump more than we thought we would. I want to remember our very successful times working with our employees. You heard the city administrator mention that we hadn't had a contract with our teachers in more than 5 years. And we set out to make sure we got that done. And we worked with our union, we worked with our teachers, we worked with the chancellor, and now we have over 4,000 people who on December the 22nd got their first raise in 5 years. There are some things that we do that you may not think about. How many of you have low tags? Low tags. Oh, not many. Well, we got to work on that low tag list. Because one thing that you get as mayor is the opportunity to give low tags. Anybody? Nobody knows what low tags are? Okay. We also had the opportunity to work with I know you know John Boardman. John has a very special low tag that is reflective of our most favorite workers at Local 25. Thank you, John, for being here today. We also had hosted many mission trips, and they are focused on how we bring jobs and how we exchange investment between our country and our city and other cities. And we had very successful trips to China and to Cuba. So I want to thank you, Angela, for your help in getting us to Cuba. Some of you call me sometimes when you see me on TV. Any of you send me a text, and you especially love when I'm interviewed by Fox 5. And so that we're going to keep that going for the rest of our time together. But one of my most favorite times happened right here on the very first time I think we met here. It was a woman who introduced me. Now, Reagan and Biscuit certainly were cute, weren't they? Give them a big round of applause. But one of my most favorite times was when a woman who I had met knocking on doors in Ward 6, and she told me then, she said, you know, Mayor, I need a job. I'm staying with my sister. I don't have my daughter with me because I don't have permanent housing. And I said, well, you know, ma'am, the only jobs that we really have are knocking on doors. And, you know, it's hard. You have to knock on doors. She wasn't as young as everybody else who was working with us knocking on doors. And she said, I'll do it. And then I turned around after I got elected, and I said, Carol, what are you doing here? She says, well, I work for you. And I said, you do? Where do you work? At the front desk. And so from that time on, Carol, who really needed a second chance and needed a fresh start and was willing to work hard for it, she joined our mission for a fresh start for Washington, D.C. She didn't turn back. She worked with us. Then she said she needed new challenges, so now she works for the Mayor's Office of Veterans Affairs. She became a homeowner in Ward 7. She is reunited with her daughter, and she is on the pathway to the middle class, and that is why we do this. So I want to end by saying we have many challenges ahead of us. All big cities do. We also have the talent, the resources, and the commitment to rise to any challenge. And I want to continue to ask you for your support, your prayers, for asking us to do more, and for your willingness to roll up your sleeves to help us do more. I'm more excited today than even I was when I was in 2015 when we stood here together. I know what the job is. I know what the challenges are. I know we have the talent to rise to it, and I'm ready to do it tomorrow, and the day after that, and the day after that, and the day after that. God bless you all.
And I do it 1,000 times again. for that we have each other. And we will rise, we will rise, we will rise. We'll rise. I'll rise up, rise like the day. I'll rise up in spite of the age. I will rise 1,000 times again.